Hi everyone, my name is Garnette O'Connell. My adventures that happen, I finally know someone who can get those into books. Her name is Allison. I've always wanted to get my adventures written in books, and now that I know Allison, she can do that for me. She's going to be doing a book reading. It's part of a series called The Adventures of a Mermaid, and the book she's reading this time is called The Rat Prophecy.
This is part 5. I am the Esperanza 2 for 3, everyone. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the show. Today we are reading The Rat Prophecy. I'm actually really excited, but before I talk about that, I just want to talk, there are a couple of things that I want to bring up. One, I am in a different chair if you haven't noticed. That little comfy chair that I had for a short amount of time, I already broke it. I kept plopping in it instead of actually sitting. And since I weigh so much, I broke it. I didn't break the frame. I broke the actual fabric of because it was tearing at like one part of it. The part of the fabric that was tearing, it was actually right on one part of the frame. Craziness. So, thankfully I didn't have to buy a new one. I have an amazing mom. She actually has a spare chair from her work that she had for me, and we actually went and got it right after we saw Pete's Dragon last Thursday. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Not this week's Thursday, but the Thursday before that. I had so much fun, and it was so good. I'm actually, I haven't seen the original film, and from what I can remember, I think it's based off a book. I can't remember. I don't think it was Roald. I forgot his name. Roald Dahl, I think it is, or Roald Dahl. That guy is a brilliant writer, but I have to say, but I haven't read any of his works. I probably should. Anyways, it was such a great film. The dragon did not talk, because as I said, I haven't seen the original film, but I have a feeling that he did talk in the original film. In this one, he didn't. Disney, which I believe made this film, Disney, they decided to they decided to use a whole bunch of body language, and they definitely worked a bunch on the eyes, because seriously, that dragon had the most beautiful round eyes, and he just used so much emotion to help communicate with the little boy, which, oh my gosh, that's such a sad story. I mean, it's kind of stereotypical of how he lost his family, but oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. It's beautifully done, and I'm really glad how they were able to entwine the magic and how everything just comes together in the end. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. You gotta see it. I rate it. I gotta say I rate it at least. All right, I guess 9 out of 10. It was a beautiful film. It was a beautiful film. I have to say it's one of the best films ever for this year, in my opinion. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what happened in the previous reading, which was 2 weeks ago. I'm going to keep reminding you guys that I'm doing this every other week. This week is The Rat Prophecy. Next week is Ashlyn's Dream Come True. We're going to be doing this until I finish Ashlyn's Dream Come True, and then after that, I think I'm going to do the same situation again, but with a Halloween type story. Now I've actually been debating on which book to use for Halloween, mainly because just now I remembered I do have one that's an actual ghost story. I don't know if it's short enough, though, to read it for Halloween. I'll have to think about it. But anyways, what happened in the previous reading for The Rat Prophecy, Garnette got to talk to Ariel about, them being a mermaid. But she had to, rendezvous with her cousin since they were at the dancers to, check it out, And so she finds her cousin talking to Chef Jerry, the executive chef of whatever restaurant I had created. I don't remember the name because it's German. At least I think it's German. I don't remember because I had to come up with it on the spot. The chef that I was trying to contact, I took too long in asking him. Whatever. Anyways, so she gets to meet the manager of the place, who is not the owner, but he is the manager. She finds out he's a bit of a jerk, and that he has some sort of weird power. Or at least some sort of hold, because he uses these words, "would you kindly?" And that is actually a reference to a video game. If you guys have not played that particular video game, which there's going to be, the words of it, the word of the game, like right here, flashing. Actually, I don't know how to do the flashing thing, but at least not yet. I don't have the software for it. Oof. But pretty much, where were we? Trying to figure out. She tells Ariel, the mermaid that she met, that he has this weird hold. The mermaid already knows, Ariel already knows, and she tries to reason with Ariel on how to get her objects back. And the object, oh my goodness, that's a long discussion, but anyways, I'll explain that part of the story after the reading, actually. But we ended with Garnette going back to the house and finding the engaged couple, Kelly and Jesse, playing the game. She decides to play against him, and she let him win. And that's kind of where we are, because they're discussing of what happened at the dancers. So, let's go ahead and start from there.
What happened?
The couple chorused.
Well, Marion got to meet her favorite chef idol, Jerry Wentz. I got to meet another mermaid, and it turns out she's stuck working at that place for a jerk of a boss.
Keaton's a jerk? How's that possible?
Wait, she's stuck there? How? It turns out there's still a bunch I don't know about the merm world. There seems to be objects that represent one's magic, and if a mortal has that object, we're under his complete control.
She sighed.
I don't know what her object is, but he has it. She's tried everything except contact the owner of the club, but she says no one has even seen her or knows who she is. How's that possible? How's that possible? We know the owner.
Kelly, we promised, he whispered.
Promised what?
Garnette asked. She looked at them dumbfounded. We promised the owner we would keep the anonymity of who they are.
They? So you do know the gender. It's not Keaton, is it?
No. He shook his head. But if he's controlling your mermaid friend for no reason, then we need to tell the owner. What's her name?
It's actually your ballerina friend, Ariel.
Ariel? The couple exclaimed.
Yeah, and she's taught me how to belly dance. The sad part is she knew nothing of Aquatica. Whoa, that's sad. What surprises me is that Keaton has tricks, some sort of power hold, I think.
Garnette shook her head.
I don't know if it's just at mer people, but when he says, "would you kindly," you have to do what he says. I couldn't stop myself from telling the truth. I almost spilled it about me and Ariel. In fact, he tried to make me forget what I learned.
Those words, "would you kindly"?
Yeah, he used them. Then I thought of Ariel. I realized because of that, she must be in danger. It seemed to have broken the hold he had.
She shook her head once more.
Anyways, if you guys talk to him about me or Ariel, be careful, would you?
Of course, the couple chorused again. Lines creased her forehead. She frowned.
I'm nervous to apply for the job now. I mean, I don't know what my object is, but what if he ends up controlling me too? What do I do?
You tell us, of course. We'll talk to the owner. They should be checking in on Keaton every few months, though. Ariel's been working there for a year.
It doesn't make sense, Kelly said. She would have said something to us. Perhaps Keaton prevented her from doing that, Garnette said. Now that makes sense.
Jessie glanced at a clock nearby. Well, it's past lunch, and Kelly and I missed our meal. Are you hungry, Nettie?
Are you kidding? I didn't even get to eat the meal I got at the dancers. I'm starving.
Kelly giggled.
Come on, then. Let's go to the kitchen to eat. We can try to come up with a plan.
They walked and headed toward the kitchen.
Sounds like a good idea. I gotta get to the beach in an hour anyway. What are we eating?
Potluck. Whatever you want.
After the hour passed, she sighed as she sat down at the beach.
She waited patiently while mindlessly digging her toes in the sand. She piled the sand around and over her feet, and then grabbed more to cover her legs. Before she used the sand to cover her knees, she shaped the rest at her feet to look like a dolphin tail. The two-legged mermaid then covered the rest of her legs up to her waist. She smiled and then let her back touch the ground to rest. She sighed once more while she watched the clouds in the blue sky. The two-legged mermaid closed her eyes. Her mind soon drifted off while she fell asleep. As if it had been a second, she felt someone shoving her shoulder. She moaned.
Oh, God, I thought you died,
she heard. She slowly opened her eyes.
Huh? What's going on?
She muttered. Her eyes opened more. She turned her head toward the princess. She smiled faintly.
Hey, Garnette.
Garnette laughed.
You are crazy! Come on, mermaid. Time to go in the ocean.
Ariel glanced around.
All right, let me get out.
She wiggled her knees. The sand loosened. She could move her legs then. Ariel wiggled her toes out. With Garnette giggling, she walked over to her new friend's legs and grabbed the feet.
Garnette, what the heck?
She felt them pop as Garnette pulled her toward the ocean. Ariel laughed.
All right already, you've pulled long enough. I can do it on my own.
She let go and ran.
Race you to the
ocean! Ariel giggled. She stood and hurried after her. Garnette ran in the water and dove. She did the same. Their legs shined brightly as they turned into tails, their long hair covering bare chests. Their legs shined brightly as they turned into tails, their long hair covering bare chests.
Wow, look at all this,
she whispered. She could see colorful corals and reefs. Schools of different fish passed them.
I guess I've been so used to swimming in pools, I've forgotten how beautiful the ocean is. I know, right? Just wait until we reach Aquatica.
Garnette was quiet for the rest of the swim. It seemed so tranquil. The ocean stretched deeper and darker in its turquoise teal waters. Now and then, Ariel showed awe of the fish or other marine life. Everything looked beautiful to her. Her eyes then caught buildings of the wonderful underwater city. Her eyes widened.
Gee whiz! Look at all those colors! Blue, purple, green, pink. It's all blended with the anemones and fish. I can't believe I said anemones right. Anemones! 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 Yes! Almost as if everything is shining.
Ariel grew excited.
It's so beautiful,
she whispered. Garnette giggled.
Come on, there's a few people I want you to meet.
She led her friend away from her home. They swam past holes, hidden caves, and other houses. Ariel spotted some of her favorite fish. She smiled at them.
Ah, here we are.
Ariel turned to look. There was a mermaid-made cove. The covering and welcome mat were the same as Garnette's first visit. She smiled to see Miss Darla again.
Oh, Darla!
She knocked on the side of the cove's entrance. Darla came out and greeted her.
Nettie, dear, so wonderful to see you. You've had a full day.
Garnette laughed.
What'd you see? Getting wet twice? The Ferris wheel falling? Or nearly confessing to a land dweller who I am?
She grinned at the psychic. Wow, that is a full day, Darla said, widening her eyes with a calm surprise. She softly shook her head. No, I saw you meeting another one of us. She looked at Ariel.
Hello, dear. What is your name? It's Ariel Puckett. Who are you?
I am Darla Tateston, but down here we all go by first names. Call me Darla. She smiled. It is nice to meet you, Miss Ariel. A name is quite a compliment. You have a beautiful shade of green in your hair to match your eyes.
Why, thank you. And you. Your orange and green hair is amazing.
You are quite welcome, and thank you. Come on in. She looked at Garnette. You're just in time. Amethyst and I were having seaweed tea.
Seaweed tea?
Ariel repeated.
Yeah,
Garnette answered.
It's really good. I admit, I didn't like it at first, but if you've eaten enough wrapped sushi, you'll like it. Come on.
She and Darla swam inside. Her friend followed behind.
Holy fish sticks! Look at all those swirls!
She cried.
Don't stare at it too long,
Garnette and Darla chorused. The walls had colorful, iridescent swirls, as if it was one giant shell. Anyone who looked at it for a brief time would fall asleep. Then he or she would dream of their greatest fear. The merperson had to conquer the fear or die in their sleep. Garnette learned to avoid staring. The first time she fell asleep to it, she ended up dreaming of her ancestors' memory of Uncle Adelaide's banning her to the shore of Aquatica. To the shore of Virginia, sorry. With that memory, she accomplished meeting her uncle and defeated bad mermen who intended on poisoning Aquatica. Yikes. She smiled as she remembered those days. Garnette glanced around for her aunt. Ariel looked at other parts of Darla's home.
Hi, Aunt Amethyst. How are you doing today?
She asked with a smile.
I'm doing swell. Who's your friend? This is Ariel. It's actually her first visit to Aquatica.
Oh, really? Amethyst raised a brow. You brought her to a great spot before meeting our uncle. She glanced at Ariel and smiled. Welcome to the underwater city, Ariel. Have a seat over here. The new mermaid friend sat on a shell chair next to her. How long have you been a mermaid, Miss Ariel? Darla asked.
Since I was a baby, actually. I thought I knew everything until today.
I can imagine, Amethyst said. You've never been to Aquatica?
No, I haven't. I didn't know there could be people who became merpeople later on in life.
Garnette surely surprised me. I bet, Darla said. She came from her kitchen, bringing 4 mermaid carved cups with her. Here you two go. Sip carefully now. It's hot.
I love hot tea,
Ariel said. She took the cup and had a small sip. Her eyes widened as she pulled the cup away.
Wow, that is good.
The 4 mermaids chattered away. As the minutes passed, they talked about many things, made jokes, finished their tea, and laughed. Ariel was enjoying her time there. It surprised her when she heard knocking at the entrance of Darla's cove. Darla swam to the opening and glanced around. She smiled. She waved to Amber and beckoned her to come in. Amber followed her inside.
Mom!
Garnette cried. She swam to her mom and hugged her.
Oh, I've missed you. How have you been?
Amber hugged back. I'm doing quite well. It's nice to see you're back. How long are you visiting? Garnette shrugged.
It depends on Ariel.
Another A in the mermaid world. It amazes me how many there are. They laughed, as did Ariel. I heard that. Garnette and Amber swam to their group of friends.
Mom, this is Ariel. Ariel, this is my mom. Amber.
Ariel laughed once more. Now I see what you meant. It's nice to meet you. And you, Ariel. Any friend of Garnette's is a friend of mine. She smiled. How long have you two known each other? We met today, actually. It was quite a surprise. This place is amazing. Amber narrowed her brows in confusion. We should probably go, Garnette spoke. I want her to meet Uncle Adelaide. Are you sure, Nettie? Her mom asked, turning to her. Like she said, you two met today. You don't know much about her. But I know she knows more about mermaid magic, she whispered. I want to learn more about it. I still don't know what I have. Amber hugged her. Be careful, Garnette. I will, Mom, and I'll explain everything later. She looked at Ariel. Let's go. Ariel nodded. The two left Darla's Cove. The psychic picked up the mermaid's empty teacup. She observed inside it and sighed. Her lips turned down into a frown. Oh dear, she whispered. What can you read? Amethyst asked. The psychic mermaid looked up. She has a troubled past. She paused to read more from the tea reading. It will catch up to her, and it has affected her. She cocked her head to the side. She's a good person, and talented, too. Darla sighed once more. Ariel is not a descendant of a merperson. And that is actually where I'm going to stop. Oh, such a great stopping point. That is a great stopping point, especially when it comes to cliffhangers. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, unfortunately, fortunately, part of that book actually explained what objects are. I've actually, it's interesting because I learned about that particular thing from a film. Not anything from the Little Mermaid films. It's actually a film called Mermaids, actually. It's not the one with Cher. It's something completely different. It was released, I can't remember which year it was, but I know it was before the 2010s. It's actually, I think it's a low-budget film, just because of the way the special effects are with the mermaid transformation. But it's actually really neat. It's about 3 mermaids, and one of them already lives on land, or has been living on land for some time. They all 3 have objects that were given by their, I think it was either their father or their uncle. I can't remember. One was like some sort of hairpiece, but it could turn into like a Neptune. No, not Neptune. Poseidon. It turned into some sort of Poseidon's spear, or I forgot what it's called. Trident. I think it's a trident. I don't remember. But, and another object was like a shell with a mirror inside, which was pretty cool. And I forgot what the third object was. But, the two, they're sisters, of course. But, one of the sister that lives on land, she is actually wearing a waterproof tail for some reason, as like a display mermaid in some sort of restaurant or bar. Craziness. I don't know why she would do that, but it actually helps to pay the bills of the place that she lives in, and the 2 sisters end up having to come on land because this relative that gave them these objects died. And it's interesting because because we actually get to see it happen in the film. When any mer person dies, according to this particular film's history of mermaids, they automatically turn into a person, a human being, like with no tail. It's interesting because some stories say that mer people die and they're and once they hit the water with, their dead person, they're turned into bubbles or whatever and be part of the ocean, be part of the sea. It's craziness of how the film goes, though. It's a great film, actually. I kind of want to see the film again because it's been such a long time. But that's actually where I got to go ahead and stop, though, considering I've already been talking a little bit. So, again, one thing I did forget. If you're wondering what's up with the intro, watch the first video of the Rat Prophecy. I explained what I did, and I even show you how I did it. It's actually a wig. I have this little thing that helps keep my hair up while I put the wig on. It's pretty neat. Next week will be Ashlyn's Dream Come True Part 4, I believe. If not Part 4, then it's Part 5. I've already forgotten count. I've already lost count. Anyways, I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am the Esperanza 3 signing out. Bye, everyone.